Hi and welcome to Reviewing with Mrs. Wages. Today's topic is population growth. This video is intended to review material for objective number 2 of my ecosystems test. Let's get started. Populations grow exponentially when living conditions are ideal, such as plenty of resources and space and minimal predators and disease. The growth is rapid, dramatic, and unchecked because there's nothing to slow it down. This type of growth produces the typical J-shaped curve when graphed. However, populations cannot sustain this kind of growth indefinitely. Logistic growth occurs when a population grows rapidly at first, but begins to slow down as resources dwindle, space becomes limited, or predators and disease kill organisms. At the top of the logistic curve, the growth begins to level off. This occurs when the ecosystem reaches carrying capacity for a particular species. At this point, the population size stabilizes, increasing and decreasing only slightly around the carrying capacity level. Logistic growth produces the typical S-shaped curve when graphed. Let's examine this in a bit more detail. Logistic growth begins with a period of rapid exponential growth as seen in phase 1, but eventually this slows down as seen in phase 2. This is when limiting factors come into play. By the time the population has reached phase 3, the growth has stopped and the ecosystem has reached carrying capacity for that population. At this point, the number of organisms in the population stabilizes. When the graph is S-shaped, as shown here, logistic growth is represented, even though it includes exponential growth at the beginning. Carrying capacity is the maximum number of organisms of a particular species that an ecosystem can successfully support. This means the inputs essentially equal the outputs. In other words, births and immigration, which are inputs, equal deaths and emigration, which are outputs. Though growth stops, the population size tends to stabilize at carrying capacity. Anything that slows the growth of a population is a limiting factor, and as such can impact the carrying capacity of that ecosystem. There are two general types of limiting factors. Density-dependent limiting factors literally depend on the number of individuals in the area. The larger the population, the greater the effect of these limiting factors. These are typically biotic factors or living factors that include predation, parasites, disease, and competition. For example, the more dense the population is, the easier it is for disease to spread and kill members of that population. Density-independent factors limit growth regardless of how dense the population is. These are typically abiotic factors, or non-living factors, that include natural disasters, severe weather, and even human activity, such as land development. For example, a large forest fire can severely impact any population, big or small. That's all for now. I hope this helped, and as always, happy studying!